Well, you know, I feel like there's a lot of weight riding on this. Because it's a big thing. You know,
Okay.
it's not. It's the Matrix. Name another movie that's been parodied so many times. Name a movie that has so many other movies that parody this movie as much as this.
I feel confidently saying that I can name at least one, and maybe you'll contest.
What?
Titanic. Just like I'm the king of the world and standing on front of ships and just like a couple things.
Same ballpark. Same. I will concede that it's the same ballpark.
I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't
whole-
feel confident enough to say equal or more, but I'd say for sure comparable.
Yeah, but I mean the whole slow down dodging the bullets thing. That's so, hello and welcome.
Welcome to the Movie Men podcast. I'm Peter.
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
And and I'm Brady. And this week we are doing The Matrix because we asked you guys. We're like, hey, here are 4 1999 films. What do you want us to watch? And can I say the vote and the outcome of the vote surprised me on 2 accounts.
Okay.
Surprise number 1. You put forth Blair Witch Project. Kind of surprised me. Surprise number 2, The Matrix 1. Surprised and a little disappointed. I was rooting for Sixth Sense or The Green Mile, just because I have never seen The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
And Green Mile is a film that I saw a part of when I was too young to see it, and is the movie from my childhood that traumatized me. And so I think I was interested in getting back and I don't know, seeing well, what is this all about? But it's fine. It's neither here nor there. But The Matrix won.
The Matrix won. I was fine with anything that would have won because The Matrix, which obviously did win, and shout out to super patrons Marshall and Daphne because they wanted The Matrix and that helped sway the vote for sure. But I was interested in The Matrix. I'm curious how it aged. I was curious about The Sixth Sense because I know you haven't seen it, and I was curious how
It's hard to say.
It is hard to say. And I'm curious how it aged. I've never seen The Green Mile, and I've heard a lot about it, so I would have been okay watching that. And I don't know, I just felt like a good scare, so I would have been okay watching The Blair Witch.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fair.
And the one thing I'll say is all the connecting tissue or the connecting commonality between all 4 films, I feel they were all pretty influential in their own right, like in their own category.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the Blair Witch Project essentially kickstarted a genre.
Yeah.
The Matrix, like we alluded to, has so many other pop culture references. Like it's referenced so often. Kind of similarly, The Green Mile, right? Like people say Dead Man Walking on the Green Mile has been said in other films. And then I've seen at least 2 or 3, honestly, just as far as like referenceability, right? I've seen other things where people are like, I see dead people.
Oh, yes.
And you're like, I know what that's from. I haven't seen it, but I know what it's from.
Yep.
I do know the spoiler from Sixth Sense.
Okay, so that's a big...
So that would have been...
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have kind of... Is it an M. Night Shyamalan movie? It must be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, because that's too big of a plot twist to we
not
won't
be.
give it away, but it's too big of a twist to not be a Shyamalama ding dong.
For sure.
So The Matrix. Now you brought up Marshall.
I did.
And I want to say that I Marshall asked a question in he voted on Instagram.
Okay.
And when he did that, he said, let's see if it's as good as we remember it is. And that is the question that I wanted to answer. I'm like, okay,
Sure.
yes, let's see that. Let's not see if like let's not I didn't want to fixate on is The Matrix a good movie? Cuz spoiler alert, it is. I mean, it's The Matrix.
Sure.
It didn't get as big as it did and spawn 2 sequels, soon to be 3 sequels.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's not good. But is it as good as we think it is? Is it as good as we remember?
Sure.
And so that was my mindset going into it. Should I just drop the ball on what my answer is to that, and then we can just unpack it at some other point?
Your call. I've got a little bit of a trivia to go over, but you.
Oh yeah. It's been a few weeks since we've done trivia, but yeah, hit me with trivia.
Okay, I'm gonna hit you with a trivia question, and it's true or false. Really simple, really clear cut. In 1999, The Matrix was obviously a big film, and it ballooned up, earned a ton of cash compared to what the production cost, the listed production cost was. But I'm just going to ask you, in 1999, did it break the top 3 for highest grossing worldwide films? Yes or no?
That's a good question. Was it just too weird? Was it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm wondering if it was just too weird to see that kind of success.
Too nuanced to be a widespread moneymaker. I see what you're saying.
Right. Like, is this just a is it just a cult classic?
Right.
I'm gonna say yes, but just.
Okay. You're wrong, but you're close. So the biggest winner was Phantom Menace that year. So that was like night and day number one.
Yeah, I mean,
night and day. The 2 and there's a bit of a gap between 1 and 2, but number 2 was Sixth Sense.
Okay.
And The Matrix was 4th, so it was close. And it got edged out by Toy Story 2.
Okay, rightfully so, I think.
I would think so. But
yeah,
a very jam-packed year. Like Star Wars is going to be the blockbuster, obviously. So
yeah.
Cool. The other thing I want to say is more just a conversational piece. Despite widespread rumors, and I have to say this, despite widespread rumors, Sean Connery was not offered the role of Morpheus. He was offered a role in in the sequels as a different character, as the architect, but not as Morpheus.
As the architect.
So it's not true. And the other thing, other candidates for Neo, I'm just going to whip them off. We got Will Smith.
Yeah.
Who turned it down.
Yeah, I knew that one.
I did not know that. Who turned it down because he wanted to do Wild Wild West, and he thought The Matrix was a little too nuanced.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, who quote unquote turned it down for family obligations. And the last and the biggest one here, Leonardo DiCaprio, who initially said yes, and then after a few meetings, he turned it down because, quote unquote, he did not want to be in a visual effects heavy movie right after Titanic. So,
right, because there was a lot in Titanic.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know those other ones. I did know Will Smith.
Interesting.
And when I watched I watched The Matrix last night. It's a fresh viewing.
Sure.
And it was the first time that I'd watched it, I think, since I knew. It'd been a while since I'd seen it. It's definitely the first time I've seen it like as an adult, where I was like,
yep.
Where I went into it going, okay, this is the time I'm going to fully understand it.
Sure. Yeah. Because I don't want to speak for you, because I can relate, because as a teenager, as a child, when I watched it anyways, it was more, here's some lulls where there's conversation that leads to a really cool action sequence.
Right. Some really cool action sequences where they're like, defying physics.
Exactly.
Stuff. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because it came out in '99, and it probably wasn't long after that I started, like, that I knew it was a thing, and I saw parts of it, which is a whole interesting thing that I want to talk to you about in a second. But this was the first time I kind of like asked myself. I kind of pictured it was during the choose a pill scene.
Sure.
And I was like visualizing Will Smith there instead. And I think what I landed on was wildly different movie.
Right.
Wildly different movie of Will Smith was Neo. But I'd be here for it. I'm like,
for sure.
I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with this. Absolutely. Absolutely, it would be good.
Nicholas Cage, no, but Will Smith and Leo, I'm there for.
Yeah. So something was interesting. I was thinking, like, okay, so when this movie came out, I can't speak for you. My parents at the time, so I was born in 92.
Cool.
And when I was born, my dad was 24, my mom was 25.
Okay.
So when this came out, they're like early 30s.
Yep.
And at the age where they're maybe still going to the movies to see movies, or like renting movies when they come out. You know, like now, like, again, I can't speak for you, but like my parents don't go see movies in the theater unless I'm like, hey, let's go to the movies.
Yep.
They're not like renting. They're not like excited for new movies. And so it was just interesting to me that I was like, I saw this movie not long after 99, and I'm like, how? How did I see this? And it was like, oh, because it would have been a new, exciting blockbuster film,
right?
And my dad would have rented it,
right?
And so I would have overseen him seeing it.
Yep.
And so it was just interesting to me that it was like, oh, back when our parents were young movie renting individuals, that's when The Matrix came out. And so to me, I was like, because otherwise, like, how do you see this stuff? How do you, but that's how I saw Walk the Line. So it's like when Walk the Line first came out, because I don't know, it's like 2000, what? 2002?
2 or 3,
So I was like 10.
Sure.
As I'm not, so you enjoy movies, you enjoy your movies. But at 10, you're not excited about upcoming. You don't know that there's upcoming films when you're 10. There's just all of a sudden there's a film.
They show up.
And you're like, I didn't know this existed. Let's watch this.
Right.
Right. You have no concept of like new releases and blockbuster stuff, right? Box office hits and stuff like that. So anyway, I found that really interesting.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm going to pass this to you, but I just want to say, is this movie, to the question, is this movie as good as we remember?
Sure.
To which I definitively say, nah. Yeah. Is it good? Yes.
Sure.
Yes. But I think this movie suffers from being too big of an entity. It's the Matrix, man. And because it's the Matrix, we hold it to a standard that, like, you think of the Matrix and I mean, prior to rewatching it now, you think of the Matrix, especially the first one. The second one's not so good. The third one gets kind of weird, although there's amazing fight scenes in the third one.
Yep.
But you think of the first one, I think, kind of, for the most part, you think of it as the flawless Matrix movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then I watched it and I was like, and not even taking into account some CGI stuff that didn't age well. Like the spoon looks terrible. Morpheus's glasses are never quite right. But all of that aside, not taking any of that into account.
Sure.
There are some I'm going to say cinematic, there are some movie-going sins that this film is guilty of.
Of course, yeah.
That we just overlook, I think, because it's the Matrix.
Sure.
Because it's like, because it's so big. It's like, if you were to sit down and unpack oh, I don't know, the Lord of the Rings, right? Or
yeah.
Back to the Future, or Titanic, or if you were to really, and you don't talk about it, you don't say, well, if you really think about some of these things in the first Back to the Future, these are some problem moments, but you don't. You go, it's Back to the Future,
right? It gets a hall.
And so
it gets a hall pass.
Yeah. So is The Matrix amazing? Yeah, I think it's an amazing movie. Is it as good as I remember it? No, but I think that's because it's The Matrix, I'm constantly remembering it not accurately. I'm remembering it as as an entity of its own, as this like almost celestial kind of like thing. It's The Matrix, man. It's not even a movie anymore. It's The Matrix. It's a franchise. It's a concept. It's a thing that's parodied. It's The Matrix. It's it's no longer just a film. And because of that, I think you remember, unless you know the film really well, I think you remember it inaccurately. And if you go back through it, I think with a fine-tooth comb, at least what I've found is going back through it with a fine-tooth comb, I'm like, it could be better.
Sure. Fair enough.
So, the mic is yours, sir.
I think we're on the same page, but for maybe slightly different reasons. So I would say, yeah, I would mirror what you say. It's a great film. It's a classic, and it's good. It's a story. I think it's very reflective of the time, right? Like it's a society in this story where people are plugged in and they're reliant on the system, and most people aren't ready to have their minds free and break the chains. And it's pretty heavy as far as the metaphors. Like they hit you in the face. But as far as how did it live up? How did it live up compared to how we remember it? So, I mean, the story's not bad. I would say there's existential films that have been better made since then. So, in that regard, I'd say it's probably not as good as we remember. The action and effects, I wasn't as critical of it, and it could just be the context that I watched it in, and you are more aware of such things, so it could just be a difference between you and me. But I'd say the action and effects, for the most part, are decent and aged well. So in that way, it's probably as good as I remembered. Again, like I said, you have to just remember it for the context being like the 90s, very tech heavy, and the ripples that this had in the film industry. So that's pretty remarkable. I think where I come from is, so all that being said, is I think it's a great film. It's very well done for the time and the era. But I think it's not as good as we remember it. And it's, for me, when I watched this, the thing that I walked away with, I think there's such deep and complex themes that are just kind of touched on in this film that I think are just overshadowed by the action and the combat scenes and the kind of the visually pleasing stuff, which it's hard to fault a movie for being too good at one thing to dwarfing something else. But I think that's the case because there's just some very interesting themes about like predestination and free will that are touched on and they're revisited throughout the film. But I feel like the film could have been way more interesting upon me watching it again if it wasn't as action heavy or as dependent on those parts of the film. So it's kind of a weird critique because it's saying, hey, it shouldn't be so good at something, or at least spending so much time on something like the action, to really delve out other themes. So I would agree with you, but just for a different reason.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's really fascinating. And I think I also agree with a lot of that stuff. For me, the major shortcoming of this film, I think it's miraculous in the sense that it sets up its own thing. Like it's so good because it's so original.
Oh,
it
sure.
It's original, but it isn't. I mean, it's not the first AI took over and wiped out the human race thing.
Oh,
right?
no.
Like Terminator did that.
Yep.
And it's not the first, like, living a lie computer, but it just the way that it does it together and the ability to, because it's essentially a movie about hacking. It's everyone is plugged in because the robots took over, the machines took over, and we needed to get rid of them, and they were all solar powered, so we scorched the sky, whatever that means. We stopped the sun from coming through.
Sure.
Somehow.
And
so then they adapted. They were like, well, we need another power source, and humans are, run on and produce their own electricity. And so we can just, farm them for their energy. But they're probably not going to do that willingly. We're going to need some compliance. So we're just going to like hook them all into this like dream state thing, right? And so, but the whole thing, like everyone on the ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, like Mouse and Tank and Trinity, right? Like Neo talks about Trinity was a hacker. They're all hackers. They're all there because they're hackers. And essentially what they're doing is hacking the Matrix. Morpheus says that at some point, right? He's like, this is the ship from which we hack the Matrix. So they're just, it's a computer program that everyone's locked into and they're hacking it. And so to me, that's really interesting. Where this movie falls short is they stray from that occasionally into this inexplicable supernatural element that allows them to just do things for the sake of doing things, and they're not held to any kind, like they never explain it to you. They're just like, well, but it's I don't know, supernatural and fate and stuff. Right?
Sure.
So like the whole bending time and doing bullets and whatever, that can all be explained because it's hacking, because it's just software, and they're just like altering the software, and it's fine. All of that works.
Sure.
What doesn't work from they never give us an explanation, so we can't we're kind of just like, oh, okay, I guess this is I guess this is logic now. One is the Oracle.
Yep.
How is she predicting things?
Right.
And maybe there's a some sort of like hacking software explanation for that I'm just not thinking of.
I guess.
But what there isn't one for, at least I don't think, is the reincarnation of the chosen one thing. Right? The fact that he's a chosen one and therefore he can't die, and he's the reincarnation of he's the second coming of the first guy that unplugged everyone and woke them all up and stuff like that. They never explain that. They never make any sense of that. And I don't really remember the sequels all that well. I just remember like scenes. So maybe they dive into that. I don't know. But they definitely don't here. And it just kind of leaves me feeling like it feels like weak storytelling, lazy script writing, because it's like, well, we need this to happen, so let's just kind of shoe it in by using because this and this and this, just because. And you're left going, oh, okay, yeah, sure, he's the chosen one, I guess. I don't know. Which means he can't die. Oh, okay.
Right.
And there's an oracle who prophesized this. Oh, okay, sure. but how? And how does that tie into because up until that point everything makes sense, right? It's logical that you can go, okay, the machines, and then the machines did this and it was problematic and yada yada yada. But there's this supernatural element that just, to me, feels really out of place.
Okay, fair enough. I've never actually, I've never given that too much thought, but that's interesting.
Right. So to me, that was the detriment. That was the part that was like, I don't know. There's a bunch of things that feel like they're a just because thing, and that takes away from it.
Right.
So there you go. There you go. And I mean, anything else I can say about this film is just like, yeah, this is fun, and that's a great scene, and this is a great scene, and maybe that doesn't work for me as much, but like, yeah, my overall appraisal is good movie, not as good as we remember, because I think there's this built up impossible to live up to hype. So I don't think it's the movie's fault that it's not as good as we remember. I think it's just one of those things that we remember differently than it actually is.
Right.
It's just so built up.
Sure.
And the reason why it's not as good as we remember is because of this supernatural element the supernatural element would be fine if I feel like there was a little more connective tissue, if it was a little better explained. But yeah, it's just like, it's basically like, so technology, and we goofed up, and the robots took over, and oh yeah, also magic. And you're like, oh, okay, right, check, and check, I guess. So that's my problem with The Matrix.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's interesting. I think the only thing I'd counter to that, and I think it just comes to a different human being's perspective or opinion on it, and it's not that I disagree with what you're saying. I think I would have walked away with it feeling that it had lived up to it more if it was just a standalone film. And I'm not saying that I don't appreciate 2 and 3 or that I'm not looking forward to number 4. And I'm not even saying 2 and 3 are bad. Like, that's not what this episode's about. I'm not even trying to explore that question.
Right.
I just think I liked how it is original, and like something that really stood out to me is like I can't think of another film that blends the whole future dystopian society with kind of like martial arts and chosen ones and oracles and fates, and it's a kind of an interesting pairing and blend, and it adds to the uniqueness of the film. And just when I watched the ending scene and the end credits roll, I think I was just a little disappointed that there was a second and third film. Just from the perspective of, if it had just been a standalone film, I think I would have said this aged well. It was maybe more artistically significant. And I just want to make it clear, like, I'm not trying to say 2 and 3 are bad. I just think sometimes things can be muddied and things can be made for financial reasons. And I just think I would have walked away with more of a profound respect for this film if it had just been like a one and done. This is like an individual artistic endeavor, and that's it. But
right.
Yeah. The only other thing I want to ask, and am I missing something, or am I looking too deep into something? And this is one of the things that I would have explored more, and I liked it being touched on, and we maybe it was, I'll just get into it. So there's the whole concept of predestination versus free will, which again, as an adult, I found way more fascinating than I did as a kid, because as a kid, you're living for the action sequences. And we've got that little teased a little bit when Neo's in the kitchen with the Oracle. He tips a plant. The Oracle,
it's a great moment.
It's a great moment. Even as a kid, that moment I appreciated. But the Oracle intervenes, and then it's the whole question: would he have knocked the plant over if she hadn't said anything? And then
she says something like, what's really gonna stir you crazy is, had I not said anything, would you still have broken the vase?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, God, like it was her saying it that made him turn, that caused him to bump it. Which it's a great Scott moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so then further, we see this kind of in a larger scale. We get Neo saving Morpheus because of what the Oracle told him. And again, so it's basically he does something because of her intervention. So we get, or at least I get the question, would he have saved Morpheus without the Oracle's intervention and her kind of misleading and controlling him? And basically what I'm trying to ask, and I'm just curious what this film is trying to say, and I'm wanting more of stuff like this, and I would have thought the film was more profound if it went into some of these themes, but I'm just trying to sound it out here. So we've got in a plugged-in world, we've got everyone who's plugged in, but we've also got some people who are unplugged and free. But if we have even those who are unplugged and free like Neo, how free are they actually if they're still being controlled by, in this case, the Oracle manipulating them and interjecting with them? So I'm just kind of curious with the theme of there's people who are not free that are plugged in. There are people who are quote unquote free who are unplugged. But my question is, how free are those people actually if they're still being controlled or manipulated by an outside source? So I just think there's some of those things where I do take a step back and go, ooh, that's neat. But I also go, ooh, I think I would have thought this movie was better or aged better if it had dipped more into some of those head scratching things versus it kind of touches them on the surface.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't consider that. I think that's really interesting. I do think, like, you talk about being, the people who are imprisoned because they're in the Matrix.
Sure.
And the people who are quote unquote free being woken up. You know what? Although he's a dick and I think he went about everything completely the wrong way, I 100% identify with Cypher. Sure.
Oh,
shit, man.
Yeah.
Put me back in. Put me back in.
Yep.
Erase my memory so that I don't know that any of this, because I don't care. Right? Like he says, I know that this steak isn't real.
Yep.
But the Matrix tells my mind that it is. I can taste it. And it tells me that it tastes good. And that's good enough.
Ignorance is bliss, as he says.
Yeah. And it's it's good enough. And because Morpheus asks a question at one point in this film, and I was like, whoa, like I'd never picked up on it before. But Neo remarks about something being real or not being real or something. And Morpheus says, what is real? Right? If real is seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching,
right,
then real is just electrical receptors firing in your brain.
Oh, yeah,
and,
that was...
And if and if that's all that is, then the Matrix is very real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man, yeah, like what is... And it really got me turning, because I was sitting there thinking, shit, like, you're right. Like, what is real? If I experience something...
Yeah.
Even if no one else is... If I'm hallucinating... Back to our Black Mirror episode.
I was just going to say...
And it's causing me pain.
Yeah.
Physical pain, because my brain... Right? My hallucination is telling me that I'm getting stabbed in the chest. And because it's all in my head, my brain is responsible for pain receptors.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Firing neurons or what, I don't know how it works, but like sending electrical signals to my pain receptors or whatever, however it works. The pain center of the brain is telling me that I feel like I'm getting stabbed in the chest. Then, I mean, the pain is real. You know, I'm not feeling the, maybe I'm feeling the pain. Maybe I'm not, suffering the negative side effects of actually getting stabbed, right? Like I'm physically, my tissue is fine. Mm-hmm. But it's still, to a degree, it's pretty real.
which is alarming, which is what we touched on last week for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew that this week would enrich last week?
I feel that's happened a few times on the show where, like, coincidentally, we've touched on something the following week, which kind of amplifies something we've already hit on. It's actually kind of neat.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is cool actors in this film. Hugo Weaving is great. I love that scene where the cops are like, "Yeah, we sent some guys upstairs," and he's like, "No, Lieutenant, your men are already
dead." I love
Do you
him
think
so much.
Oh, so good.
Agent Smith is the best, and I love that he's moving forward. We see a lot more of him, right?
Oh, for sure.
But just because that one line, I think it's in the third one when they're in the rain, because he starts like turning everyone into him. Like the whole Matrix is just Smith's, right? By the third one,
yes.
And there's this moment in the rain where the real Smith is about to face off with Neo, and the street is just lined with more Smith copies on either side. And he's just like, "Mr. Anderson, welcome back. We've
missed you."
And it's like, oh, yes. Like it's so, and then he gets out, right? And he he kind of like unplugs himself somehow. And he's like, I don't remember how he does it, but he's like, it's so good. He's so good. Hugo Weaving is the best, man.
Do you think this is the last thing I have written down here? I was wondering when he was meeting with Cypher if he would have honored his agreement with Cypher, and I'm just like, again, this is a theme I would have found interesting somehow explored. Is just my initial impression is like he's not going to honor this. Like he's the bad guy, so he has no reason to uphold his part of the agreement. Like he could just screw Cypher over. But on the other hand, like he probably doesn't just want to kill Cypher. Like Cypher is a battery in his eyes. So he probably, like, maybe even though he's a bad villain, maybe he would honor his obligation of the deal just because, like, you need a battery power source, so no point in squandering it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I guess just in a traditional setting in this circumstance, I would say Smith would just backstab this guy because there's no way nothing this guy can do, and if he doesn't remember it anyway, Smith could really screw him over. But on the other hand, what's the point of screwing him over just because you do want a ample power source? So maybe he, in all the cases of villains and deals, maybe he would honor his deal. I don't know.
So explain Smith to me, because Smith. The agents.
Mm-hmm.
My initial thought when watching this film is that the agents are not people. They're not actual people.
Correct.
They are code.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
They are almost like moderators, basically. They're I don't know, they're code. Because there's even a moment where Smith is talking, and it's like he's talking as the machines. Like it's almost like
for sure.
A machine, the leader of the machines or whatever. It's almost like the AI that birthed all the machines is speaking through him. He's speaking as that AI.
Yeah, I'd say something like that, right? Because even there's a point where he's saying, send them in, or, in reference to the Sentinel. So there is some kind of continuity between him and the greater machinery or the greater power that is technology.
So, but he wants out. So then that's when it gets weird, because you're like, but how does he want out? He wants to leave. He also feels trapped in the Matrix.
My impression of that was, it's not so much he wants like a human being. I want out because I want to move. I want to retire. I want to get that house with the white picket fence. I think it's more just like, as a software program, he has one purpose, and it's
he feels limited.
And he feels, well, not even that. Like he has one purpose, and that's all he has to do. Like that's all he's coded to do.
Because I don't remember whose body does he end up? Because he gets out, and whose body does he get out in? Because he has the same voice, right?
It's complicated because
it's a
without
guy
getting
that
into
looks
spoilers,
like him but doesn't look like. It's not Hugo Weaving, I don't think, but it's
not.
He's got a lot of the same bone structure, and it's definitely the same voice, or it's a guy trying to do a Hugo Weaving impression.
Yeah. What it is that it's more complicated than the storyline that's in this film. From what I remember, he's not part of the system anymore, quote unquote. Spoilers here. The point is he's not the same individual he was in the original Matrix, so it's a bit more of a complicated answer.
Okay. So I'll just have to keep watching and.
He has different motivations, I guess, is a spoiler-free way to say it. Hugo Weaving's character has different motivations and parameters than he does in this film based on things that happen. So It's not an apples to apples comparison.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
0 to 10, sir. 0 to 10.
My ratings are very nostalgic influenced. So on my scale, it didn't work out. It usually equates to like how much effort I want to put into a movie. And this week I won't even get into that just because it's a skewed number and it's pushed by nostalgia. So on my scale, I'll just say it got 8.8 out of 10. On Marshall's scale, friend of the show who has a very good movie critiquing scale, his was a little more grounded and I feel a little more confident in it, but I gave it a 7 out of 10. And yeah, it's a solid film. I definitely saw some shortcomings like we discussed. But between the merit that the film has and this nostalgic factor, I definitely thought it was a good film, and I enjoyed watching it as an adult this time because I feel like I haven't watched it since I was like a teenager or a kid who was only allowed to watch it at their aunt and uncle's house. And it was like we said, you wait for the lulls of conversation to lead to a really dope fighting scene.
Yeah.
What did you give it out of 10?
I give it an 8 out of 10. Like it's a great movie. It's just not it's just got too much hype. It's victim. This movie is victim to its own hype.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna press a button and play an audio clip.
Hey fellas, Marshall here. This week I watched a 2019 film called The Peanut Butter Falcon, featuring Shia LaBeouf. The story revolves mostly around his character's relationship with a man with Down syndrome who's running away to become a wrestler. What did you watch this week?
I like me some Shia LaBeouf. I do. I
don't know. I feel like with you starting that sentence, though, I don't know if you do.
Well, no. Okay, hang on. So I love Even Stevens, right? I've got that like nostalgic thing as a kid. I do really think he's funny, at least in the first Transformers movie.
Okay.
And what is the Disturbed? Disturbed? Is that no?
Disturbia.
Disturbia. Disturbia is possibly the most underrated, doesn't have enough hype movie that I can think of. It is so good.
And shout out to the actor who played Trinity with the Matrix connection right
she
there.
She plays Mom. Yeah. Carrie-Anne Moss.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think her name was Trinity in Disturbia.
Yeah. But I haven't seen this. So maybe I need to add it to my list.
Cool. Yeah. It seems like an interesting premise from what I can see anyway.
Cool. Answer the question.
I think I only watched 2 things this week. The first is I've continued the check on Lost. Some things haven't changed. There's some things that haven't aged well. So whether it be camera techniques, we've talked about that in the past. And, some storylines are either I get tired of or just haven't aged well. But there's some things that are aging well. And, I think some people say, hey, Lost, the ending sucked. And everyone's right and can have their own opinions, but I think if you just limit it to what the ending of the show was, you miss the message. And this show's bread and butter was its character studies, and it's has its moments, is what I'm saying, and it is an enjoyable re-watching of the show. The only other thing I watched was one episode of a show. I started a show, and I watched the first episode of Loki.
Ooh, you skipped a series?
I skipped a series because I'm more interested in Loki, and I can justify. I can go back to the Captain Soldier Winter.
Because you do have to. Like, there are things that are going to happen in the MCU moving forward. I can tell you this, that will make dick all sense if you haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's huge. There's a movie coming out. They've announced a movie that they only announced once the final episode aired because it was too spoilery to announce that the movie was happening. Like, it's you got to see it.
Dang. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
All right.
I'll put it on the list. What did you watch this week?
So I've been continuing 24. In fact, tonight, later on, I'm going to be making myself a big old plate of nachos and probably conquering a season finale tonight.
Oh.
So that's exciting.
Beautiful.
And then just continuing the MCU, man. I watched Captain Marvel.
Okay.
And I watched Endgame.
Yes.
And I cried. And so did the two people I was watching it with cried. But we all cried at different moments. They cried at moments that they didn't know were coming. And I cried at a moment that I knew it was not the same moment. I cried at a different moment. I mean, if you haven't seen Endgame by now, what are you doing? Even listening to this podcast.
Right.
But I cried when everyone comes back and Tony first bumps into Peter Parker on the battlefield. And Peter in his like normal kind of like fast, like, whoa, Mr. Stark, like, do you remember when we were on that planet and I like turned to dust? Well, I must have passed out or something because I woke up and then like you weren't there and like, and he's like talking like super fast. And Tony just like grabs him and hugs him.
Yeah.
And the look on Tony's face, you can tell that like 5 years of guilt have just melted away.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful moment. So that made me cry. That and the other moment that makes me cry, and I think it's super, super, super underrated. Super underrated is the moment when after, it's like right at the end of the movie and Morgan, Tony's daughter, and Happy are sitting outside of this house and he asks her if she's hungry, and she says, yeah. And he says, well, what do you want? She says, cheeseburgers. And he says, your dad liked cheeseburgers. And she said, yep.
Yeah, that's
And he
awesome.
says, I'm going to get you all the cheeseburgers you want. And you can tell, like, the facial acting in Jon Favreau in that moment is like, holy crap, man. Like, it's just incredible. It's just this incredible scene. I hope we haven't seen the last of Morgan and Pepper. Yeah, so powerful, so good. Yeah, so that's what I watched. Oh, and then I watched Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Beautiful.
It's good, it's a good movie. I can't remember what I scored it when I don't remember. But it's good. It's arguably the best moment in it is J.K. Simmons showing up in the post-credit scene. Spider-Man's a menace. Like, and you're like, yes, yeah, he is. But yeah, it's good. It's good, and I'm looking forward to. It reminded me. I'm like, man, like the next time we see Spider-Man show up, like the world knows his identity now.
Yeah, things are going to happen.
Things are shit's. This Spider-Man movie. Honestly, with the Spider-Man movie coming and like knowing that Doctor Strange is going to be in it, and there's like some multiverse stuff that's going to happen, and we're still not sure, but maybe Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to show up. We know that Alfred Molina and Jamie Foxx are going to be there. We know, like, just all of this stuff. next to Endgame, this might be the biggest, holy crap, what is going to happen MCU movie that we've ever had.
I think that statement would echo more with me. I think for many reasons, I'm more intrigued.
Yeah. Like, you know, I don't know that it beats out Endgame, because obviously Endgame was Endgame and everyone was like dusted and we're like, what the holy crap? Like, how do we... Like, Endgame was just huge. Like, there may never be another movie event ever like Endgame.
Right.
But Spider-Man No Way Home, it's shaping up. So
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I watched. But I mean, you know, cut a guy some slack. All right, wrap it up.
That's respectable. Thank you everyone for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe on the social media pages below. If you feel so inclined, check out our Patreon and merchandise page. It's ways for you to help support the show and help us maintain costs, and it's ways for us to give you perks back. Give us a good rate and review wherever you listen to help others find the show, and we always like a comment or a like on our episode pages, so we love hearing from you. And until next time, goodbye.
Wow, that's so boring. No. Don't just end it that way. Like, come on.
What?
Like, tell a joke. End it with a joke.
Until next time, when we review another big MCU movie.
Is that next? No.
So big that Tobey Maguire might watch it wherever he lives.
Our next episode is going to be Black Widow.
Right.
That's crazy.
And Tobey Maguire is not rumored to be in it.
Right. Well, and even if he'll listen to our episode.
And Alfred Molina is also not rumored to be in Black Widow.
That's true. But what's his name is in it? Dave Harbour? Is it David Harbour?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The alcoholic cop from Stranger Things. You know.
Yeah.
That's the legacy you want to have as an actor.
An alcoholic cop.
The alcoholic cop.